Hello there and welcome to this new video where I'd like to share with you what I do in the morning, or my creative rituals in the morning that allow me to experience a sense of freedom in my creative practice and my creative expression. And to start this video, I'd like to say that this is not just a video for people who already think that they are creative, but is also for people who feel like they could benefit from some creativity and maybe need some courage to be able to get out of their own way and learn how to feel more empowered in creating the reality that they are experiencing. Because sometimes we forget that creativity is not just limited to art, but it's also about how we model, how we create the reality we are experiencing, or the way we experience our reality. So I hope this video will be helpful. To start with, I'd like to say that this is not based on discipline. This is more based on listening to ourselves, to what we need. So for me, I tried discipline applied to creativity and it didn't really work. And so what works for me is a sense of devotion rather than discipline. I really like this idea that I could completely replace discipline with devotion and feel like I'm looking forward to do this ritual in the morning. So to be able to achieve this and to not need discipline to do my ritual, what I do is occasionally I don't do this ritual. So if my body feels like it needs to rest, then I rest. I don't force myself. In this way, the next time I will wake up, I will feel a sense of looking forward to do the ritual finally, because I took a break and I feel energetic enough to do this ritual. So I just wanted to mention this in case it's useful for you, like it has been useful for me. And now let's get to the content of the video. My ritual is made in 3 parts. So one is stillness, another one is movement, and the third one is creation. And it may sound like the third one is the most important one, but the first 2 parts, the stillness and the movement, are ways to prime my mind and body to allow the third to come smoothly and with ease. So the 2 parts are possibly the most important parts of my routine. And I don't always do them. I just see how I feel in the morning. But in an ideal day, I do both of them and then I start creating. So the first one, the stillness, is basically just a meditation. So I sit in silence and I don't have a time frame. I just allow myself to sit in silence until I feel appropriate to do so. And it depends, of course, if I have time that morning. But normally I listen to my breath. I focus on my breath and I let my mind bring up everything that it wants to bring up, while keeping a sense of detachment from everything that it brings up. So my mind will bring up all these thoughts and all these worries and all these ideas and memories and plans and so on. And I will step back into a role of like an external observer, and I will practice non-judgment, and I will practice letting go of control over what my brain is bringing up. And this is I feel like this is a very important ability for creatives, or for people who want to be creative, because when we judge ourselves too much, we end up being a block for ourselves, for our own creativity. It's a little bit of a waste of energy almost. So to practice detaching from our own goings-ons is very beneficial for creativity. It could be that we lost touch a little bit with our freedom of expression, freedom of creative expression, because growing up we were overly judged by someone and we decided that it was not safe to express ourselves creatively. So now it is our task, not anymore somebody else's task, it's our task to show compassion to ourselves and non-judgment getting a non-judgmental approach towards our creative expression. So I will sit in meditation for as long as I feel appropriate, and then at the end of it, one important part is to thank my own self, my own mind, for showing me all the things that it showed me. And that reinforces the idea that I'm actually detached from all those things. It will happen sometimes that I get a little bit triggered by certain ideas and thoughts that come up. Maybe the memory of a heated discussion that I had with someone. But it is very important that I practice this stillness and this detachment and non judgment towards all these things. And if I see my body getting a little bit triggered, I can just try to focus again on my breath and remember that everything that my brain brings up, that my mind brings up, everything is non-permanent. So it's always very temporary things. And most of the times is much less important than what my brain makes it to be. And also, I can always find some positives in negative things that happen. So I try to remember myself these things when I feel like I'm losing a little bit of my detachment. Then the second part is moving. And for me, this is very important because is the way I see it is like cleansing my energy body when I move. And this might sound ridiculous for a few people, I know this, but I really feel the difference before and after I move my body and I shift my energy through my breath and my movements. And it depends what I do. I don't always do the same thing. Sometimes I do sun salutations, sometimes I do more Tai Chi type movements, sometimes I just do stretching. I try to listen to my body, which again is an exercise that is useful for creativity. And I try to acknowledge what it wants to do, how it wants to move. And I think this is also very important for to establish a positive relationship with our physical self. I think this is quite beneficial in general in life, not only in creativity. And after I finish these two things, that's the fun part. So then I can start creating. And I have specific things that I do, but normally I can group them up in three parts, especially if it's about drawing. So sometimes I will practice on specific things that I want to improve, and sometimes I pull out my my folder of things that I collected that inspire me, and I try to copy some of them just to practice things, shapes and colors that I like. Other times I like to let things just come up. So I doodle and I do Zentangle type things, or things like the neurographic art that I posted in this channel, things that are more like spontaneous and that are more intuitive. And other times I work on commissions or specific projects that I would like to work on for myself. So these are the three main categories. And I mix writing and drawing in my journals. So I'll show you now also my journals. I just started this one today. I finished it a few days ago. And what I really like about these journals, I really love to make my own, first of all, because it feels more satisfying to feel a journal that I made for some reason. And I can also make it how I like it. Sometimes I struggle to find affordable journals that I really like, the looks of. But what I really love of these journals is that they can lie completely flat. And so this means that I can easily draw on both pages. And it's very nice. So this is empty because I just started it today, but I can show you the old one that I have here. And this is, I think I made it 2 years ago now. And I made it with a fabric that I like, leftover fabric, let's say. So in the journals, I'll have some pages that are written, some pages with drawings, some pages where I stick things and I collect things and little doodles. I also have some pages that are flying. I add, this is a half a leaf and half a drawing. So it really depends what I feel like in that moment. I have pages that are completely drawn like this. So, and for the rest, I write. And so for the writing bit, I'd like to say something as well, because I mean, I know that not everybody likes to write, but I found a practice for writing that really supports my creative expression in general, and I'd like to share it with you. This comes from, originally, I think the first time I've heard about this was from Liz Gilbert, and then I also heard about it from Lee Harris. So Liz Gilbert is a writer. Lee Harris is a psychic, intuitive reader type of person, and they both speak about pretty much the same practice, which is to write an open question and let the answer just appear. So, for example, Liz Gilbert has a Substack profile where she does these letters from love, and she asks love a question. I choose to do it a little bit differently. The way Lee also did it was a little bit differently. But I feel like with these kind of things, everybody should try to look for their own way of doing things that resonates better with themselves. The way I do it is I normally address an open question to an entity, let's say, that I sometimes call inner wisdom, sometimes source consciousness, sometimes higher self, sometimes soul. It depends. I ask this question, and then I let the answer appear, and I try to not control the answer, and also I try to be really aware of not letting my inner critic come up with their own narratives, their own stories. So I try to make it really open. I try to really receive the answer rather than control it and direct it. So if I'm asking something about something that I'm doing, the answer that comes up while I'm writing is usually very supportive. So I'm writing, for example, a question about a specific situation that I'm facing, or I write a question about what projects should I work next, and I get always really spot on answers. So I was so surprised when I started this practice, and I noticed how it almost feels like it's not me writing these things. It almost feels like it is like some sort of higher power of some sort. And so I recommend to try this practice as a way to practice being a channel for inspiration and a channel for messages that could be written or could be drawings, could be paintings, could be sculptures. It's a very nice practice, the open question, and then trying to not control what comes up. So I really recommend this. And this is basically a lot of what I do in my creation phase of the ritual. So yeah, this is, I think, everything I wanted to say. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you got something out of this video. I really hope so. If you did, let me know. And if you have ideas or other, if you want to suggest other things that you enjoy doing for your own creative practice, to feel more freedom, to feel a little bit more courage in expressing yourself, please write a comment, because I love to read ideas, and I love to read what other people are inspired by. I will leave all my links below here, including the tutorial to make this type of journals, which lay completely flat, and some other things. I could also speak a little bit more about the moon rituals that I do, which also support my creative practice. And this is the poster that I have up on my website if you want to get it. There's also a coloring page version that you can color yourself. So I'll leave everything below here in the description box in case you want to check it. And if you enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to post another video in 2 weeks as usual, but I don't guarantee it because at the moment I'm very pregnant, and yeah, we will see. But in any case, if it's not in 2 weeks, is in a month or a month and a half, and so on. So I hope to see you then, and I wish you a very good day. Bye bye.